One of the other things that we have done is working together with University of Nebraska, Omaha Center for Public Affairs, as well as the Department of Economic Development, is to do a business survey for businesses here in Nebraska. Now, we put these restrictions in place to preserve that hospital system, that healthcare system that I mentioned. But it's had tough consequences for the businesses here in the state of Nebraska. So April 15th to the 24th, the Center for Public Affairs did a survey out to businesses to find out how they've been impacted. 4,500 businesses responded. 87% said they'd been impacted in a negative way. And you won't be surprised to hear that some of the industries that were impacted the most were things like arts, entertainment, and recreation, food services, also healthcare and social services. Those kind of industries were the most impacted with regard to the restrictions that we've put in place. And so today we've got Cathy Lang, who is the State Director of the Nebraska Center for Business Development, to be able to talk about the results of that survey and some of the things that we found out when we asked Nebraskans and Nebraska business owners how they had been impacted by the pandemic and some of the restrictions we put in place. So Cathy, I'm going to ask you to come up and say a few words about that.
Thank you, Governor. It is an honor to be here today to announce the Nebraska Business Response Survey report. As the Governor said, I'm Cathy Lang, the State Director of the Nebraska Business Development Center, a center of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. NBDC is a statewide organization providing business services to Nebraska businesses to help them start and grow all across our state. The Nebraska Business Response Survey was a great collaboration among business, state, and university interests to gauge the impact of COVID-19 on businesses and organizations in Nebraska. The survey, which the Governor helped us kick off on April 15th, is allowing us to explore the range of challenges that COVID-19 presents to Nebraskans in the business and nonprofit sector. As a result, we are able to offer insights and solutions based on the information that so many Nebraskans have provided. We had an exceptional response to the first survey, and we want to thank those businesses and organizations that participated. Their help and timely feedback added so much value to the state's plans and actions to respond to COVID-19. The survey effort will continue in June with a second survey of the organizations that indicated their willingness to participate. The information in subsequent surveys will allow us to understand how COVID-19 impacts are evolving and allow us to continue to provide timely information to policymakers. You will be able to find the survey report on many websites: the Nebraska State Chamber, the Nebraska Department of Economic Development, the University of Nebraska, the Governor's website eventually today, and of course, nbdc.unomaha.edu. nbdc.unomaha.edu. We hope you'll take a look at that survey report. The survey shows the breadth and depth of the economic impact today of the virus on the Nebraska economy. The impact is vast, touching every part of Nebraska and every industry in Nebraska. As the Governor said, 87% of respondents have been negatively impacted by COVID-19. And yet, while we are all acutely aware of the negative impacts of COVID-19 on the economy, the survey shows that something very special is happening in our state. While 89% of respondents said their revenue is down, Nebraska businesses and nonprofit organizations are actively working to maintain their employees and the hours of those employees. We are very encouraged by this response, and we think it is very telling for Nebraska. Let's just say that our businesses and organizations are doing all they can to keep the economy of Nebraska going. Lastly, I want to share with you the top 3 concerns that Nebraska businesses and organizations have shared with us. First, the financial impact of COVID-19 on their operations, their liquidity, and their capital. Second, they're very concerned about the duration of the outbreak and the quarantine efforts. And lastly, the top of the 3 concerns is decreasing customer and consumer confidence and spending. I want to thank the partners to this survey, the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Omaha Chamber, the Lincoln Chamber, the Nebraska Department of Economic Development, and my colleagues at the University of Nebraska, at UNO, the Center for Public Affairs Research, at UNL, the Bureau of Business Research, and of course, the Nebraska Business Development Center. The report is available publicly, as I said. It's broken down in 3 sections. The first section is all of the statewide information. Where did the survey responses come from? What was generally said by our businesses and organizations across the state? Then the report goes into detail about industries and how individual industries were impacted. And lastly, we have regional breakdowns of the report information. We stand ready to provide these reports to organizations across the state to help them as they are trying to navigate through this incredibly challenging economic time. Governor, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Cathy. We appreciate it. And again, thank you to all the businesses and nonprofits who filled out that survey. We appreciate your help on this. And again, this will be part of the input that Tony Goins is using as he's thinking about his plans for economic development. So thank you, Cathy.